In the late 1800s, the world needed power. Thomas Edison claimed his invention of DC power was the superior way to transport electricity. His claim to fame was creating the first electric-powered light bulbs, which made him popular in his day. Little did he know, a young Serbian inventor and a fellow inventor, George Westinghouse, would stand with a new technology, AC power, and change the way electricity was used forever. Thomas Edison was a 19th century inventor born in Ohio. Throughout his life, he patented upwards of 1,000 inventions, including the light bulb, gramophone, and direct current system. Direct current is a way to transmit electrons in one direction from a negative to a positive terminal to create an electric charge. This was a way to replace the use of gas lamps and other gas-powered machines which were unreliable and dangerous. It was tested in New York and eventually moved to 18 cities throughout America. Although functional, DC power had many flaws, including being incapable of efficient long-distance lines and unreliability. Nikola Tesla, a Serbian man, was much younger than Edison. He went to an Austrian university, which sparked his interest in electricity. Although young, he was very smart and saw that Edison's DC power system was flawed. While in a park, he thought of a more efficient system of currents and sketched it in the dirt. He called this creation the AC induction motor.
Yeah, so what the motor did was it helped move humans from an agrarian age to an age of high technology and freed them so that they could go back to school.
It utilized a current with a very high voltage, which would change direction more than 50 times per second. With the use of transformers, this was more efficient for mass use and was able to go long distances without assistance. In 1884, Tesla immigrated to America and became a worker for his idol, Thomas Edison. He eagerly showed Edison his idea for an induction motor and how he harnessed the capabilities of AC power. Thomas Edison, thinking Tesla was foolish, sarcastically promised Tesla $50,000 if he was able to improve Edison's DC powering dynamos. Tesla took this seriously and after weeks of tireless work, completed the task. Edison told Tesla that he was merely being sarcastic and didn't give him the promised money. Tesla quit and began working menial jobs just to get enough money to continue his inventions. Tesla later met a man named George Westinghouse, a fellow inventor who was interested in Tesla's use of AC power, and gave Tesla a job. Westinghouse and Tesla began developing AC power and creating new systems with this more efficient form of current. With the two of them teamed up, they posed an immense threat to Edison and his DC power. Feeling that his products and profits were in danger, Edison began what later came to be known as the War of Currents. This battle consisted of Edison doing everything in his power to prevent people from thinking that AC power was a viable option for anything. His main focus for steering people away from AC power was the use of public's little knowledge of electricity. He made AC power seem menacing and dangerous through public tests. He would take stray dogs, elephants, and other animals and give them two electric shocks of the same voltage, but one with DC power and the other with AC power. The animal shocked by DC power would stay living, while the animal shocked with AC power would tense up and die. Edison even went to such lengths as creating the first electric chair with AC power and electrocuting a death row inmate publicly. He called this being Westinghoused.
Electrocuting cats and dogs and an elephant and all that stuff, and getting the electric chair instituted to try and make it seem like alternating current was very dangerous. And that's why Tesla sent all that electricity through his body to show that it wasn't dangerous if you knew what you were doing.
The culmination of this historic battle came in 1893 when there was bidding to supply the Chicago World's Fair and Columbian Exposition with electricity. Edison with his company GE, or General Electric, and Westinghouse and Tesla with their company Westinghouse Electric knew that this would be it. Whichever company won the bid for this massive project and completed the task successfully would have the go-to system, AC or DC, and would prevail from their current stalemate. Both companies submitted multiple bids for the opportunity. In the end, GE bid $1.8 million versus the significantly lower bid of $400,000 from Westinghouse Electric. Winning the bid, Tesla and Westinghouse were able to show the effectiveness of their system on a large scale for the first time. For the start of the World's Fair on May 1, 1893, President Cleveland launched Tesla and Westinghouse's incredible grid of lights illuminating the White City and the future of AC power. Tesla and Westinghouse's stand against Thomas Edison was victorious as they were the winner of the War of Currents. Later that same year, Tesla gained the opportunity to put his work into action once again on a large scale. Westinghouse had been granted the contract to create a hydroelectric plant at Niagara Falls. Tesla was one of the very few to recognize the need for emission-free generating of electricity. One of the largest impacts that he had was creating the basis for clean, renewable energy.
Nikola Tesla is the single most important person to helping to slow down global warming. And the reason is because he invented the hydroelectric power system, which is non-polluting and renewable. It doesn't pollute the earth, and it doesn't sap the earth of its natural elements. It runs on what is called the wheelwork of nature. And it's the ideal.
Taking full advantage of the situation, Tesla was appointed to be the lead engineer. Once the plant was complete, it proved to be incredibly efficient, producing more than 2,200 volts on 3 different generators. Because the electricity was transformed into AC power instead of DC power, Westinghouse was able to send the power all the way to Buffalo, roughly 20 miles away with no added support. The long-distance capabilities of AC power gave it the means to send power over 400 miles to New York City. 1/10 of all America's power was coming from this one plant because of its adaptation of alternating current. Tesla and Westinghouse's stand against Edison and DC power was a massive event in the history of technology. Tesla risked his life by experimenting with running current through his body. He also stood up to Edison directly by quitting his job and going to later work for Edison's competitor, Westinghouse. Tesla, unlike Edison, didn't care about money. He wanted to electrify the world for everyone.
Tesla showed tremendous courage in that regard. He was, much more interested in helping humanity, and he was, the money at the time. He didn't know later that it would come back to bite him, but I think, standing up to Edison was a big deal. And I think Edison eventually respected Tesla because of it.
Westinghouse also took a large risk from a business standpoint. Although he wouldn't be paid fully back, Westinghouse bid approximately $1 million lower than he should have for the Chicago World's Fair job. He knew that the important part of winning that bid was being successful so he could get enough public approval that he could move on to Niagara Falls and eventually the world with his AC power system.
It was essential because Westinghouse understood that if he could win the right to light the World's Fair, he could then show the world that he had the best system.
Seeing these tremendous tasks succeed gave AC power the edge it needed to beat out DC power in the eyes of Americans and the world. In 1934, AC power officially became the current of choice for America's national power grid. AC power ended up being influential in the creation of many everyday electronics, as well as large industrial equipment. AC power allows us today to create clean electricity. Had DC power been nationalized, we would have had a power plant in every town that needed electricity because of the limited distance it can travel. Thanks to Tesla's win of the War of Currents, almost every country in the world today uses the idea that he drew in the dirt over 100 years ago.